We've all heard it. 60 is the new 40. It's a phrase that baby boomers are especially happy to espouse. But what does it mean from a medical perspective? And how has our health and our health care been impacted by the dramatic increases in life expectancy? Joining me for this discussion is Dr. John Fleming, a board-certified geriatrician and the medical director for both the Mayflower and the Gardens at Depew Nursing Center in Winter Park. Welcome, Dr. Fleming. So let's go ahead and start off. How has life expectancy changed in the last 40 years? Well,
we are getting older. Probably we've added 4 years or so in the last 40 years, but much more than that in the last 80 years. Women still outlive men, but that gap is narrowing.
Okay. And why is it women outlive men?
Oh, there are lots of reasons. Of course, women don't go to war, didn't used to go to war.
Sure.
They're just programmed to live longer, frankly.
And how has it affected our level of functioning? So are people living longer and doing more with those added years?
And of course, that's the goal. It's not just to live more years, it's to be able to be productive and to be functional during those added years. And yes, which is hence the phrase 60 is the new 40, people are more active in their later years.
Why, and I know, I kind of know some of the answers to this, but why are people living longer? I mean, I know there's this super emphasis on obviously a healthy lifestyle.
Sure.
But in reality, what is it that's really extending life expectancy?
And that is part of it, certainly, behaviors and lifestyle. Medical care, there have been reductions in mortality from the main diagnoses, cancer and heart disease.
Okay.
And before recent history, public health measures and sanitation and immunizations and infectious disease treatment, all those have contributed.
And I imagine, you know, especially when we talk about cancer, I mean, a lot of these diseases are becoming chronic. So folks are living with them for the rest of their lives because of medical advances.
Correct.
Okay, and that makes a huge difference, I would imagine. So what are some of the consequences? When we look at an aging society, we say 60 is the new 40. It's a great phrase. We all love it.
Right.
But what are the consequences of it?
Unfortunately, it doesn't last. We still are going to eventually become old, either decline rapidly or not so rapidly, depending on the situation. So we've sort of shifted the curve to one direction. So there's still going to be huge health care needs and support needs for the aging population, although a little later on.
What are the benefits? I mean, obviously being able to spend more time with family and friends, but you know, what are some of the benefits that you see in terms of folks living longer?
Well, the elderly contribute a lot, as you know. They bring their own background of work ethic, and they continue to work longer than they used to, and they teach us.
Now, when we talk about a cure, I think folks have, you know, an expectation that, well, everything is going to be cured. How, from a medical perspective, do you see that?
And as a geriatrician, that is an issue, because most of the conditions I deal with are chronic. They're not really curable. They're manageable.
Okay.
And of course, our goal is to make life livable, to make life not be institutionalized or medicalized, and not have it revolve around our chronic conditions.
And you don't want to give people unrealistic expectations, because obviously every person's health history and every person's health future is unique.
Exactly.
Okay. What kind of medical advances would you say, looking forward, what would you say, in your opinion, would help to extend life expectancy even more down the road for folks?
Well, of course, the high tech and the technology has gone a long way in things like organ transplantation and genetic manipulation and those things. They're important, but I think also attitudes. Attitude toward the elderly to preserve quality of life rather than just cure disease, to have it less medicalized.
And what would you say is when people should realistically, you know, be able to live to? I mean, is it possible that down the road, I mean, folks will be able to live well past 100, 110?
I mean, there are those who believe that, but lifespan, which is different from life expectancy, lifespan is how long can human beings live, is still the same. It's about 120, and very few people attain that.
Really?
So we're not there yet.
Wow, 120. I never would have guessed that's really when the humans can live to.
You read about it in the paper.
Very good. Well, Dr. Fleming, very interesting information. And yes, 60 is the new 40. So always like to hear of that phrase.